Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to put my favorite products to the test and show you guys my favorite drugstore and high-end makeup products. As you can see, I did half of my face with one or the other. That's why my lipstick is like half and half. Before we get started in the video, let me know if you can guess which side is high-end and which side is drugstore. It'll be fun to see what you guys think. If you want to know what my favorite products are, then just keep on watching. So this is a different video for me. I'm going to be doing like split face. Hopefully I don't look crazy. I do have like a little chart that I created and it basically has everything. I'm probably gonna have to look for some stuff still because I didn't set everything out just because I got tired of setting everything out. It's like a lazy excuse. But yeah, so I'm going to do drugstore on this side and high-end on this side. So first we're going to start with primer. My absolute favorite high-end primer, hands down, it's actually my favorite primer, period. I'm just going to give you guys a dupe for the drugstore side. But it is the Urban Decay Urban Defense Complexion Primer. I actually am going to tell you guys, when I first got this primer, it actually was sent to me like in a PR package, like maybe 6 months to a year ago. And when I first saw it, I didn't use it for a long time because like the name isn't intriguing. Like Urban Defense, what does that mean? I mean, I just was like, okay, whatever, and just put it in my drawer. And then I used it because I was like, well, I want to try a new primer. So I tried it, and when I tell you, it smoothed out my skin so much. It looked like my skin was airbrushed. I don't wear this every time I wear makeup, of course, because I'm always trying new things. But every time I wear this primer, somebody compliments my skin, wondering what did I use on my face, on my foundation. And when it's really not the foundation, like I know in my head it's the primer that I use, because I always get compliments when I wear this primer. I only have about this much left of the primer, and I'm definitely gonna purchase it when I run out. I've basically used all of this, and it took me a long time to get to this point. And it also has SPF in it if you care about SPF. For a full face, you literally only need about 2 pumps of this primer. Sometimes I go like 2.5, but you really just need 2. I did like kind of half on one because I'm only priming 1/2. So it is just really nice. You can see the effects better when you have foundation on top, but it is a really nice primer. Now for the drugstore side, I really like the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. Definitely not as much as the Urban Decay one. So it's worth it to kind of splurge, but this one is a really nice dupe to it. You can't use too much though, because if you use too much, it'll slip around and it won't like kind of set in place. So you have to be light-handed with this primer. But I believe it's only, like I know e.l.f. products are usually $3, $5, $7, something along those lines. It might even be $10, I'm not sure. But it's definitely under $15 for this primer. I'm not even gonna do the full pump, and then just apply it all over this side of the face. Okay, so next we're doing foundation, and I'm kind of like, this might be a weird stage as well because one is kind of medium coverage and the other one is like full coverage. So I'm gonna try to make them even as far as the coverage, but we're gonna start with the high-end side. You guys probably already know what my favorite foundation is for the high-end side, and it is definitely the Cogendo Aqua Foundation. This is my absolute favorite foundation. There are a lot of different products that I really like just because I do makeup tutorials often, so I'm always using new products. But I try to do this video like if I was stranded on an island, what would I take kind of thing. So this hands down would be with me every single time. I could use this foundation for the rest of my life and be okay. The only downside about this foundation is the price. It is like in that $70 range, but don't get scared away just yet. The foundation is probably unlike any foundation that you ever worn before. If your experience with foundation has been kind of rocky, whatever bad things that you have experienced, you will not experience that with this foundation. This foundation is phenomenal. I love the finish of it. It's a very healthy finish. It looks like skin when you blend it. It doesn't look anything like a foundation. It kind of adjusts to your skin tone. In the winter time, I still can wear this foundation. When I'm in the summertime, I still can wear this foundation, so you don't have to double purchase. You know, everybody that I've got onto this foundation loves it. I've never heard a bad review when I've told people to try this and they try it. I mean, you could tell I use it. It's filthy. It's nasty because I always apply it by squeezing it directly on my face, which is wrong. And you really don't even need that many pumps, but you know, I kind of need to make this full coverage because my drugstore foundation that I'll be applying on this side is full coverage. So yes, that's this side. It looks better like when both sides are filled with the foundation, so I hope it doesn't throw you off that it's like weird looking, but it is such a nice foundation. It doesn't even look like foundation to me. It always looks like skin, especially when it soaks in, like sinks in. So this side, my current favorite is the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Matte Ambition Foundation. I just did a review on this foundation. I've been alternating between either the Cojindo foundation or this foundation. This foundation is so nice. I love the finish of it. Now, when I wear the Cojindo foundation, I do like to prime first because I want that added smoothness. With this foundation, I do not have to prime. It has some kind of technology in it that makes my skin look blurred without having to apply a primer. You definitely can if you want to. Long wearing foundation, super nice finish, amazing coverage. I mean, just everything about this foundation, and it's not that expensive. And this line that was just recently created by CoverGirl was actually created for women of color, which is like another thing, like, oh my god, you know. So yes, this is a really good one. I definitely recommend you guys to head over to Ulta or Walmart or wherever, see if you can find your shade in this foundation, and definitely give it a try, and come back to this video and let me know how you like all of this stuff, but let me know how you like this. So this is another one that I kind of applied directly to my face. I'm not gonna do 3 like I did on this side because this one a little bit goes a long way. This is so interesting, like doing half my face. It feels so weird. The only thing that I'm not gonna do like half my face with is lashes. Like that's too far. So when it comes to like, if I really believe that this foundation is matte, even though it's called the Matte Ambition Foundation, it's really not matte unless you set it, which I'm fine with because that's already in my routine. I always use the translucent powders. As I was saying earlier, that the whole stranded on the island, until we get to this concealer step, because I feel like I'm not really doing you guys justice by just telling you guys one high-end concealer when that's not even the truth. Right now, I have 5 favorite concealers from like Sephora, high-end, Ulta in the high-end section, and it's ridiculous, I know, but I love them for different reasons. I don't really want to get too far into it in this video because literally it would be like 30 minutes long, if not already. It probably already is gonna be a 30-minute video, but I still want to tell you guys, just in case one, you don't like the shades or whatever, because concealer is probably one of my favorite products, like behind foundation, concealer, face products. My favorite step in the makeup is my base makeup. So the first one is the MAC Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer. This concealer is so nice. I love it. I love the applicator. I love the creaminess of the concealer. I love the fact that there are so many shades, of course, because it's MAC. So definitely try this out, especially if you only have a MAC in your area. This one is a really good one to try out. The next one is the Fenty Beauty Concealer. This is the Pro Filter Concealer. I have it in 310. As I was wearing it and as I was trying it, this is a little too light, so I wouldn't recommend 310 to anyone that is my skin tone. I actually am thinking about going to get one that matches me better. This concealer is like probably the smoothest concealer I have. Erases your pores and it erases your under eye bags. I mean, it is so nice. It's full coverage and it's a really, really nice concealer. It pairs phenomenal with the Fenty Beauty foundation, of course. The next one is the Milk Makeup Concealer. Now this you can buy from Sephora. I really love the shade of this and I love that it doesn't crease that bad. It's long wearing and I love the fact that it has more of like a matte finish. Well, all of these really have like a matte finish, but I love that this one is matte. It isn't like super, super shiny on the skin, and I love that this concealer, probably more so than all of the concealers that I have, works great with all of my foundations. Like every foundation that I put on underneath it, it doesn't do anything weird with it. Another thing about it, I feel like there's not a whole lot of products in here, or maybe I was just using the heck out of this concealer because I'm literally like scraping the sides of this. I definitely need to go get another one, and I do plan on getting another one because I like it that much. This, I don't know if I said the name of it. I said the brand, but it's called the Flex Concealer, and I use the shade Medium Beige, and it's a really good shade for highlighting underneath the eyes and everything. The next one is the Laura Geller Spackle Concealer. I love this, which I love everything that I'm talking about, but I love this. It's like a really, really nice shade, especially when I don't want to do any highlighting. I just want to do basically just some concealing. I love the finish of it. It's very hydrating. It's probably the only one that I use as my favorite that doesn't have a matte finish. And with that hydrating finish, sometimes you would think that it would emphasize texture on your skin, but it does not. I use the shade Deep Tan. And then the last one, you guys probably already know this one. This is the one I'm going to use, and it is my absolute favorite. It checks all the boxes of everything I look for in a concealer, and that is the Laura Mercier. I can't believe I'm looking at the name. I just had a brain fart. But Flawless Fusion Concealer. Love this. This is my favorite concealer. I honestly don't think I could live without this concealer. I use the shade 4N. I don't use it every day because not every day do I want a concealer that matches me exactly. And I am going to be honest with you all, they really don't have a wide range of shades. So the shade that's right under this, I believe, is too light. Like, I didn't really like the shade, how it looked on me. So this is the one that I use when I want, you know, just like a natural makeup look and nothing too bright underneath the eyes. It has more of a matte finish. It sets really well with all of my powders. It doesn't crease on me. I mean, just everything about this concealer is phenomenal. Not to give any less props to any of the other concealers that I talked about, but this one has to be my favorite. And if I could only use one concealer for the rest of my life, I would be okay with this one, you know? I don't know how I'm gonna do this half my face thing. Maybe I'll do like that. I don't know. So from the drugstore, I literally only have one concealer that I really like, and this is about to look really crazy, but it is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. Now this concealer is a little light, like it's really bright. I use the shade Tan Sand, and it's really not tan sand. It kind of looks just like sand. Very full coverage, and the finish, amazing. It smooths out the skin as well. It's just when I apply this, it is so bright, like literally much brighter than this side. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit. Like, I know that's like breaking the rules, but it would look so weird if I only had one side bright under eye. So I'm sorry if that kind of messes up the video. So I'm just gonna blend this in and I will be right back. Okay, so I just blended in the concealer and it's looking good. I mean, all of my favorite products on my face. I mean, like, what? So now we're moving on to powder. So every time I apply concealer, I always go in with a setting powder. It just increases the longevity of it, and I just can't imagine leaving the house without setting my concealer. So for the high-end side, I'm gonna go with my favorite, which is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. It's been my favorite for probably years at this point. Probably since I started making YouTube videos, I've been using this. So yes, it is a really nice powder. I'm sure you guys know all about this powder, so I'm not really gonna talk you guys to death about it, but it sets your concealer really nicely. I feel like it's truly translucent on me. However, if you are a little bit darker than me, you may like Translucent Deep that they came out with. I'm not quite sure if that's the name exactly, so don't quote me on that, but if you go into Sephora, you will see the translucent version and then the darker version. And the reason why I say darker than me, because I've tried it and it's a little too dark for me, so I can't use it. For drugstore, my favorite powder is the CoverGirl Professional Loose Powder. I love this powder so much. It is like, it smooths you out. Like, you set your face with this, you look like a baby booty wherever you set it. Like, I even feel like it smooths out my skin more than the Laura Mercier powder. I know, crazy, and it's way cheaper. The only downside to it is that the Laura Mercier keeps me matte a lot longer. The CoverGirl powder, I do get oily, so you will need to touch up with this powder. It's not too bad, and I will take like having to touch up just maybe like once throughout the day because of how smooth it makes my skin. But you see, like right next to my nose right here, there's like no texture, and then right over here you can kind of see the texture. And this is the CoverGirl side. When I tell you I feel like it smooths out more than the Laura Mercier, it does. I mean, it's a small difference, but it's a difference. Moving on to bronzer. For the high-end side, I'm going to, I just feel like I love Laura Mercier, don't I? Because a lot of my favorite products are from Laura Mercier. But one of my favorite bronzers is from them, especially on the high-end side, like Stranded on the Island. I'll be good with this. This is their matte bronzing powder. I use the shade Soleil 2. Hopefully they decide to release more shades in the future, because this is a really nice bronzer and everybody should be able to use it. I use this so much you can't even see the Laura Mercier imprint in there really anymore, but it was so cute when I first got it. So yes, this is one of my favorite bronzers. And how I pick my bronzers is I really like a bronzer that is not super pigmented. Like, meaning I have to build it, start little and build kind of person. This one kind of puts the perfect amount of product. I dip in twice, kind of tap off the excess, and it gives like the perfect amount of product. I don't like bronzers or blushes that are too pigmented because I can get heavy-handed really quickly. That's what I kind of look for. And then of course the shade, like I like it to be maybe a little bit warm as far as like having a little bit of that red undertone, but not too much and not too dark, and just gives the nice amount of warmth to the skin. For my drugstore bronzer, you guys probably already know this if you've been following me for a while, but it is the NYX matte bronzer in the shade Dark Tan. I love this. I remember when I bought this at a beauty supply store by my old house, and I've been using it ever since then. I've been using this probably for, I kind of want to say 4 years, and I'm not even done with this. Like, this lasts you a long time. I love the shade and I love the intensity of it. I love the fact that I'm given a chance to build it to my liking, and I don't have to worry about putting on too much too soon. For blush, this is gonna be the crazy step. It is the Sephora Collection blush. It is the shade Hot Flush, and it has a little bit of like these illuminating properties, just a little bit, which is amazing, because if it was too much, I probably wouldn't like it. It has the perfect amount of it. When I used to do makeup on other people, when I would use orange blush, it would always like give me this little happy fuzzy feeling because it would be so cute on everybody. Definitely one of my favorites. So I'm just gonna apply this. This is gonna be on the high end side, and literally look at that. Like, oh my god, I just look like the summer just kissed me on the cheek. And then if you feel like you put too much, you can always just go back in with my foundation brush and just tap over it, and it's just like perfect. I love it so much. And then for the drugstore side, the blush part was kind of a hard thing for me because I don't really separate blush from drugstore to high end, because that's one of those products that it really doesn't even matter where you get it from. Like, you can work with most blushes. I really wouldn't say like you have to get a drugstore blush or you have to get a high-end blush. You can get whatever you want and it should work fine. You just may have to use a lighter hand with certain brands or a heavier hand with other brands, or maybe the shade just isn't perfect for you. For the drugstore blush, the Maybelline Berry Blush. I really like this blush, and so any blush from the Fit Me collection from Maybelline would be fine, just whatever shades you want to go with. I just happen to have a berry shade. I don't even know if they have an orange shade. I really like it. It is pretty pigmented, so you do have to use a light hand with this blush. I'm just going to tap in a few times, and this, I'm probably gonna look crazy, but it's all right. Okay, there we go. Okay, it don't look too bad. Does it look too bad? Because one side is pink. Oh, and this brush, because it's another cool brush. This is from Wet n Wild, the Rebel Rose collection. Super cool. I think it's a blush brush because that's what I'm using it for. But I'm actually going to go in just on top a little bit with my orange blush on this side, just because I'm going out. Like, I'm not staying in the house today. So for the high-end side for highlighter, one of my favorites is the MAC Hyper Real Glow. When I apply this highlight, I use all of the shades. Like, I just run my brush across it. It's probably why it's messy, but it's a really nice highlight. It's one of those lit from within. Like, it doesn't look like chunky glitter on your face. It looks like you're just glowing. So I literally, like I said, just doop 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 and then I just apply it on the skin. This is one that like I will build, which is really nice as well. And then for the drugstore side, I'm gonna go with the one that you can get at like actual drugstores, but there are also two that you can get from Ulta, some Ultas that sell it, and that is the ColourPop highlighters. I feel like I've said this more than once, but if you do not have a ColourPop highlighter, you need one. Like, you need one. They're not even that expensive. I use the shades Stole the Show and Double Down, just depending on which one I want to go with. They're really not that much different. Like, you don't need both of these. And I apply them with my finger. It melts into the skin just the same way that the MAC one does, except these are inexpensive and super pretty. You just have to make sure that you really close the lid really tight so they last for a really long time. But these are so nice. I love these. And then for the highlight that I'm sure you've heard of, the one that I'm going to use is the Maybelline Master Chrome highlight. I'm using the shade Molten Gold. Such a nice highlight, you could tell. Dropped a piece of it in a hotel on the floor. I was really sad about that. It is a bit more chunky, I would say, than the MAC one, but it's still a really nice glow to the skin. Like, it's way more like blinding, like, ooh, you know, like when you first apply it, it has that more blinding look to it. Down the bridge of my nose, I'm just gonna go in with the MAC one. And again, highlight is one of those things you can tap over with your foundation brush too, kind of just blend it into the skin. And then when you use setting spray, it'll mesh it all as well, so don't worry if you go too far with it. So for brows, my favorite high-end products right now has to be the Urban Decay Brow Blade Brow Pencil. I love this brow pencil. If you guys want a full tutorial, definitely leave me a comment down in the comment section. I've been doing my brows differently, more like the bushy brow as opposed to like the fleeked out brow, Instagram brow. So if you guys want to see a tutorial on that, then definitely let me know. But you can get the perfect bushy, like natural brow with the brow blade, really with any brow pencil, but especially with this. And I love the color of it. It is super, super nice. One side is a pencil. I use the shade Neutral Nana. I think that's how you pronounce it, Neutral Nana, Neutral Nana. And then the other side is a felt tip. This gives you those natural hairs. You could just doop, 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 doop. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this brow with the high end. I love it. Let me see if I can get a little closer. It's like the perfect natural bushy brow. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this side with one of my favorite drugstore brow pencils. I actually have a few. You know what? I should tell you guys, since I told you guys about the concealer, even though I really am trying to do the whole island thing, but that's not really working out. I actually have one more high-end brow product that I didn't mention because I wasn't gonna do it because it was trying to do the island thing. But my other favorite is the Sigma Fill and Blend Brow Pencil. They just launched this brow collection. I am loving their brow products. They have brow powders, pomades, and pencils. I believe that's all of the like actual color brow products, and I'm loving it. So this one is a really good one. And for the drugstore, I really like the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in the shade Brunette. This is a really good one. Brow products, if I like them, they typically all work the same. Like, I don't like a too creamy brow product. I like it to set in place so it doesn't move around or do anything weird. I like for it to be pigmented, not something that I really have to draw on like really hard. The one that I use most often, and is actually my favorite of all of the drugstore brow products that I have, the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. I go back and forth between rich brown and soft brown. Both of them are really good shades. Neutral Nana is a bit darker, so I'm going to go with rich brown today as opposed to soft brown. So it is different from the brow blade because there's two sides. It has a pencil and a like a felt tip part on the other end, but this one just has a pencil on one end and a spoolie on the other. So I'm gonna quickly do this brow and then come right back. So I just finished the drugstore brow. They're very similar, but my favorite thing about the Urban Decay product is that you can see the dimension and it looks more like natural hairs blended in there because I use the felt tip side of the brush afterwards. Like, this one is more flat. It's still a really nice brow, but it's more like flat. It isn't a whole lot of dimension up until like this part where I do have more noticeable brow hairs, but you can see it all throughout on this brow, so it looks more like this is my natural brow hair. So that's why I really love the Urban Decay, but the CoverGirl one is really nice as well. So for eyeshadow base, I only use one. If I'm not using an eyeshadow base, then I will just use my foundation on my eyelids and just set it with translucent powder. But when I do want to use an eyeshadow base, I always use the Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the shade Persuade. It's a like a pinky cream shade, and it doesn't have any shimmer in it. Makes all of the shadows you put on top of it a lot more pigmented, and I really like this. The only thing with this is that you do have to set it because it will crease if you don't set it. So I just apply it all over the lid, and then I take a flat brush. I really don't know why I use a flat brush. It probably would be a lot better if I use something a bit more fluffy. I don't know, but it works well. So I just pat it in and just blend it all over the eyelid. So, and then I just go in with whatever powder I used for the day. Because I used two, I'm just going in with the Laura Mercier because it was right here, and then just set it with the same brush that I used to set my concealer. It's like the perfect size and it fits on the eyelid really well and covers a lot of area at once. 4 eyeshadow palettes. For the high-end side, you guys are probably sick of seeing this palette because I feel like I talk about it every time I talk about like my favorite makeup products, but it is still my favorite high-end eyeshadow palette, and it is the Sigma Warm Neutrals Volume 2 palette, and it just has everything. I know I've already told you guys this, but I can create a natural look, I can create a smoky look, I can create a bold look, a pink look, a warm look, bronzy look. Anything I want to create, I can create with this palette. Perfect travel palette. As you can see, like how I'm gripping it is not that big at all. Like my hand, I can pretty much grip the whole palette with my hand. It literally has everything. As you can see, this is one of my favorite shadows because it's the transition color, so I use it with every eyeshadow look that I create with this palette. So that's for the high end. Now for the drugstore end, I am loving the CoverGirl eyeshadows. Their eyeshadows are so nice. Whatever formula that they've switched to, it is really easy to work with. I actually like to use more than one CoverGirl palette at a time, only because sometimes I'm looking for a different shade on the lid, but I really like the crease colors or vice versa. When I work with one, I typically work with more than one, but I'm going to just use the True Naked Nudes palette because I feel like with the look that I'm going to create today, I will be able to use both of these and get similar looks. Okay, on the high-end side, I'm going to start with the shade Toasty, and I'm going to use this in my crease, and I'm just blending it in with a MAC 224 brush. And then on this side, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It is a bit more cool tone than the one from the Sigma palette, but I'm going to use it as my transition. It won't be exactly the same on each eye, but I'm going to try to get it pretty close. So as you can see, this side is a bit more like cool tone, like maybe purpley almost, and then the Sigma side is a bit more warm. But the next shade I'm going to go in with is this shade called After Hours on the high end side, and then just apply it to the outer corner. And I'm only going to use a little bit of this because I don't want the look to be super dark. And then on the outer corner on the drugstore side, we're going to go in with this shade right here and apply this to the outer corner. Oh yeah, those shades are pretty much a dupe for each other. So the CoverGirl palette has a bit more fallout than the Sigma palette. Like you could just see on the palette right here. You can't really see on this shade, but there is some, but because it's so like light, you can't really tell. But this one has a bit of fallout. They all have, the entire palette has a little bit of fallout, but if you tap it off, it won't be on your face. So just make sure you tap the brush before you apply it to the eye. So of the shimmers in the palette, I feel like this one is also in the CoverGirl palette. So I'm gonna go with the shade Charmer. And then on the drugstore side, I'm gonna go in with this shade. And I'm just gonna flip the brush over. They're pretty much like exact dupes for each other. The only thing is that of course the crease color is warmer and you can see it a bit better than the one over here, like as far as what was up there. But they literally look so similar, like exactly the same. So you can't go wrong with either the CoverGirl palette or the Sigma palette. They're both really nice. For mascara, I really don't have a high-end mascara. I only have a drugstore mascara that I like. And my favorite one is the Maybelline Snap Mascara mascara. You guys have seen me talk about this on my channel. I'm just gonna apply this to my lower lashes because I'm going to apply lashes to the upper lashes, so I like to apply my mascara after I apply those. So for lashes, I do have a lashes tutorial. Just want to mention this because I do get questions about it. I have a lashes tutorial on my Instagram and my story highlights. It's like right at the top of my Instagram and it's titled Lashes. I also have a tutorial on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is search TAYLORANISE lashes and it should pop up. As far as like what my favorite ones are from the drugstore, I actually don't even have them. I probably should go and repurchase them because I haven't worn them in a while. But they are the Ardell Wispies. That's like my go-to on suggesting to people what lashes to apply, especially when they're beginners, because the band is very flexible, so you don't have to work as hard with applying lashes. I also recommend Eyelure lashes. Those are really nice as well. Some of their lashes though have a thicker lash band, so just be cautious about that. Get the ones that when you see it in the case, you can't really see the band of the lash. Those are easier to apply. Now for high end, I like Lily lashes, but my absolute favorite, you guys know about these lashes, and I didn't quite know where to put it because you can only buy them online, which kind of gives it like that high end feel, but they're inexpensive like drugstore lashes, but you can't buy them at the drugstore. And that is the Lash Label Peachy Lashes. These lashes are so nice. They give like this wispy, flirty, cutesy effect to the eye. So I just love these. I wear them all the time. They're only like $7, and you can use my discount code if you want. You definitely don't have to, but it'll give you an additional percentage off, and it'll make them even cheaper than $7, but they are so nice. So I'm just gonna add a bit of lash glue to the lashes, and then I'm going to apply them. And the lash glue that I like to use is the Duo Brush On Adhesive. So as I'm sitting here waiting on my lashes to dry, I realized I forgot about eyeliner. For high end, I really like the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Gel Eye Pencils. I never worry about these bleeding or leaving the eye or rubbing off throughout the day. They pretty much stay put. I believe they are waterproof. Don't quote me on that, but I believe they are. They might not be, but they definitely are long wearing. So I'm just gonna apply this to the eye. I'm using the shade Perversion. As far as drugstore, LA Girl eyeliners are bomb as well. I don't know why I don't have any over here, and you can get those from the beauty supply store. So look at that, like, oh, those lashes just made the look, honey. So for lip pencil, I don't have a favorite drugstore lip pencil, but I do have a favorite high-end lip pencil, and of course it is MAC Chestnut lip pencil. This is my absolute favorite. I do sometimes use cork as well, but I know there's like this playful war between you're either a cork girl or a chestnut girl. I'm definitely a chestnut girl. Let me know what you are. Are you team cork or you team chestnut? Chestnut is my favorite brown liner, and I use it all the time. I actually just bought a new one, but I'm not letting this go until like it's gone. I'm just going to line. So as far as lipsticks, that is such a hard question because I love so many brands, so many lipsticks. I mean, pretty much every brand has a good lipstick, but I narrowed it down to the whole island thing. So as far as the high-end side, my favorite formula is MAC formula. I really love all of their lipsticks. If I only had to wear one lipstick brand for the rest of my life, I would choose MAC. Their formula doesn't really fail you, and it's really easy to reapply throughout the day if needed. The matte lipsticks, pretty much you don't have to reapply those all day. They stay on. It's just a really nice lasting power with these, and the pigmentation of the lipstick is bomb. Now that's just generally. I did write down in my notes for new lipsticks on the high-end side, I like Dose of Colors and MAC, of course. Red lipsticks, my favorites are MAC and Flesh Beauty. You guys have seen me wear this red a lot, the Flesh Beauty Brazen liquid lipstick. Every time I wear it, I get tons of compliments. I've never gotten more compliments on a lipstick than when I wear this. This one is so bomb. I will be honest with this, the formula isn't fantastic. It's super drying, but I will take a super drying lipstick because of how many compliments I get when I wear this. Like, I just can't let it go. Even though I don't really like the formula, I love the color. And then as far as nude lipsticks and red lipsticks for drugstore, I'm really loving Revlon matte lipsticks, especially the ones in this collection, the Ultra HD matte lip color. So this is my current favorite of the drugstore lipsticks. I picked these two shades. Hopefully they're exactly the same. They look exactly the same, but we'll see when we apply it. And then on this other side, this is in the shade HD Kisses. The MAC one is different. Oh, they look so perfect in the tube, didn't they? And then with the Revlon ones, I like to actually blend it in with my finger. And I really like to rub in my lips with the MAC one, but it's kind of hard. So I just tap it with my finger. So this is the completed makeup look. I'm definitely gonna switch up the lipstick because it didn't go as planned. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I actually had a lot of fun filming this because I was able to see how my favorite products, drugstore and high-end, look together. And honestly, the base makeup, you can't even tell of the eyeshadows either. Everything looks so nice. And it just goes to show that there is so many good products both at the drugstore and high-end that not every time do you have to sacrifice to purchase more to get like similar results with drugstore. So it was really fun filming this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your favorite part of the video was down in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel as well as check out my previous video, and I promise I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.